and care. To love, we've got to care. Caring is loving. Not caring is not loving. And when we do that, we please God, and that's the only way we're ever going to find true happiness is by pleasing Him. Are we doing that though? We're not. And at this point in history, it's absurd that anybody on the face of this earth is going in need of basic, essential human needs. Okay, that is so ungodly. It is such a curse on the whole lot of us. By extension, we're all stuck in this S soup. You know what the S stands for. And so what can we do? I mean, through osmosis, it's a scientific principle. We're all going to get our fair share of suffering. So you see why I speak out? I'm utterly compelled to. I'm trying to be happy for God's sake. And I know what it's entailed. I know that it means reaching out and caring about people. And try to raise their self-esteem. And keep the ego low. Be humble. And say, God, I just want to be your friend and servant. I just want to be happy. I'm selfish. And I see what you're doing here. I see how you work. Prayer should be like a form of spiritual intercourse with God. Just a beautiful experience, thanking God for everything good you've ever experienced. Thanking God for all the good things and people in your life. Because God works through us. He's working through those people that bless you and are nice to you and kind and respectful and just, it's a beautiful thing. We reciprocate and we give, and it's just a beautiful thing. God's experiencing Himself through us. That's why we're artistic. That's why we're creative and inventive and imaginative, is because we are like God, and it's a big deal. So it's a very beautiful thing, and this is what He wants for us for all eternity. He wants it to get better and better and better. How do I know that? You can safely presume it because it's logical. God's like our parents. So just imagine God like the best set of parents you could ever imagine. And if you imagine, well, here's a fault in God, you got the wrong God, because there's no way you can ever find any fault in God. Nothing's as bad as His fault. You can't imagine God being bad in any way. Only good and far better than we can ever imagine. But we should explore it. And thank Him for being such a good God. That's one thing we can all be very, very grateful for, is that He's not an a-hole, and He's not incompetent, He's not impotent at all. But, the miracles are going on constantly, just little ones all the time. It's just, the evidence is through us being able to cope with all the crap we do one day at a time is evidence of God's amazing grace, and that in and of itself is a miracle. And the idea of there not being any form of money, that is the worst nightmare for the evil men running the show. Okay, but it is God's desire for us, and it is His will for us. And it is the eventuality for the world of tomorrow. His will be established on earth. That's the Lord's prayer. God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is our history forevermore. There could be countless inhabited planets out there, and they'll have their history forevermore. We got ours. Even if we end up visiting and living on other, we still have our origins. It's just like people migrating from other countries to another country, right? They still have their roots, their origin. We just had St. Paddy's Day yesterday and all the Irish out there. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I could be a racist. I mean, my mom was Dalmatian. What's a Dalmatian? It's like, nobody even heard of it. And both her parents were Dalmatian migrants. And then my dad, he's a Canadian Indian, he told me, and the Mississauga tribe, Port Credit. And because they're one and the same, it's kind of Port Credit or Mississauga / Port Credit, Mississauga tribe anyhow. The ancestral name was Pelican, so I'm not a half-breed, I'm a quarter-breed. But and then his mother was 100% Irish immigrant. O'Driscoll, I think, was the name, his mother's name. So, I got it all. I'm a mixed breed. I'm interracial, right? Aren't we all? I mean, and my wife, her dad was Persian, 100% Persian. I said Iranian. He's a little offended by it. No, it's Persian. So whatever. And then her mom was Irish and Scotch. So my kids, you can imagine. I mean, talk about interracial. They got it all. So, it's not just people breeding, with intermixing with, other colors. It's some of a similar color, but I mean, it's tribal. It's just tribes. It really is. The scriptures get into talking about tribes. So all this business with the royalties and stuff, you could trace back that stuff to a long way, okay, to King David's throne. Look into it for yourself. If you want, you can study it for yourself, but it goes back a long way. You talk about things going back a long way. I see these horrible ads are airing with this woman that decided to get a hole cut in her throat. Probably lived on Twinkies and Ho-Hos and Coca-Cola. I don't know, but that's not relevant. It was because she smoked. That's why she got sick and decided to have a hole cut in her throat instead of just whatever. I mean, it takes, look into holistic ways. I mean, their experts do disagree often. So, instead, but I got to pay for these ads as a smoker. And, what are these people that get people to quit smoking? And it's smoking tobacco goes back 5,000 years BC. Check it out. But they're going to suddenly now, everybody's going to stop using because they hear this woman talk like a demon. They won't talk about what her diet was her whole life. We're not going to learn nothing about what her diet was like, her lifestyle, other than the fact she smoked cigarettes. That's it. Yeah, it's outrageous, man. I want to see that. You show me some other ads. Show me some other ads, okay, about people that willfully did something stupid and got them in trouble, like the drunk driving. I want to see the carnage of dubious wars. Let's see the little kids that are maimed. Let's see, and run those as ads. You got to run them as ads. And the woman that's having promiscuous sex and she goes and has an abortion. Well, we want explicit ads. Show us the implications of doing this behavior or that behavior. Show us the meat eaters. They say John Wayne died with 50 pounds of undigested red meat in his guts. Let's show us. Show us graphically. Show us graphically. Show us graphically. Somebody dying on a deathbed with colon cancer, gut cancer. Show us from eating the red meat. Show us. But no, I got to pay for these ads. As a beef eater, how would you feel about paying for those ads? It's outrageous. Disgusts me. But this is the world I live in. But the use of tobacco goes back 5,000 years, and we're gonna stop it with these appalling ads I got to pay for. Sickens me, man. The whole world's insane. But yet I'm the radical, wild-eyed nut because I just point out that there's plentiful, simple solutions to all of humanity's problems. God has handed them us on a silver platter. A little child can understand that they're so simple and logical and reasonable, and they hold water. They can be tested intellectually, mathematically, and scientifically. But I'm nuts. I don't know what I'm talking. Even though I'm a learned, educated man, I've been able to learn anything I've ever put my mind to. Learn the crap out of it. But I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do I? Well, what if I told you I was trying my hand at acting and all that passion was just made up theater to impress any listeners out there? Well, sometimes I wish it was, friends, but I am frustrated. I am perturbed, and I'm indignant. And I am passionate, and I just so want a peace of mind. I want to be happy, and I can't do it. I want to be able to enjoy prosperity, okay? And I just can't. I mean, I'm smart enough to make gobs of dough, but I just, I can't. I mean, God's watching, and I want him to watch. I want him to approve of the person I am. I want to go to a better world. I mean, if this is it, if I fail to affect change, and I fail to see it in my lifetime, that things turn around, the worm turns, and things are starting to get better for the least of men, the downtrodden and everything else. If I fail to get that, I mean, I got to live for eternity. So at the end of the day, I got to save my own butt here. Okay, so I am on everybody's side because that's God's position. We got to go this thing called happiness together. Okay, and if another brother or sister out there that may be a better man or woman than us, we don't know, we haven't met them all, is suffering needlessly and sometimes dying out in the cold, not criminals. Otherwise, we'd safely ensconce them behind bars with 3 hots and a cot, free utilities, free rent, free medical. but they got to be a criminal. But if you're not a criminal, we're essentially saying by our negligence, by our indifference, by our uncaring, unloving, no soup for you. You're not a criminal. You didn't snap. I mean, it's so sick. I mean, and you think God's going to bless America as we stand today in the 21st century? I mean, I'm scared for people. I really am scared. I don't like trauma. I don't like it any better for anybody else than I like it for myself. I don't. And I know there's a lot of financial trauma people are experiencing. They have been for a long time. And it's gotten more and more acute. My whole life I've had to watch this thing unfold. Okay, I hate it. The debasement, the deworthment, the dilution of our money is sick. It's theft. It's what they've normalized slavery right under our noses, and that's how they've done it. And they tell us it's a good thing because you got equity in your house, because the value of your house went up. They won't talk about the fact that the majority of California residents are renters, and that the value of the housing is going up. So direct correlation, the value, the rent your charge is going up. You understand how that works? And obviously, there's no more $50 billion a year. That's all gone to the fat cats. That's all gone to make the problem worse. And we're creating more homelessness. Okay, more housing insecurity, less and less affordable housing out there, and we call it a good thing. It's just controlling the inventory is what they're doing. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's an individual doing it, like a monopoly, or if it's a group of individuals that have a common interest in doing that, running up your housing costs and making you scramble. Well, you better crack that nut. You better get another job. You better ask your boss for a raise. You better charge more for your goods and services. You better pull a rabbit out of the hat. Otherwise, that's you dying, suffering needlessly and dying under the bridge. That's you. That's you. Because obviously there's no more money for housing. That's you. So you understand that puts the fear of God in people. Oh, talk about putting fire under their butt. Stress and burden. Holy cow. Mortal fear is in their soul. You're going to make them homelessness and then tell people it's a good thing because the housing values keep going up. I still hear this crap. Sickens me. I don't blame people on a local level. We're being manipulated by madmen to think that way. You think you thought that way on your own? You learned it. You were trained it by evil men. You believed a lie. You're deluded. And stop teaching other people to believe a lie and be deluded. But that's it. I mean, it's powerful when somebody's truly delusional. They can convince other people to think and believe like them. They peddle the lie. It's not hard to do when you really, hey, I really believe this way, and it's just, that's capitalism. And if you don't like capitalism, you're on American trash. This crap makes me sick to my stomach. All right, I'm on to some recent current events and other talking points I wanted to get into. Say, I heard some of Biden's speech, and I actually liked it. I mean, I liked the spirit, his attitude, and you know, we got to pray for the president. I should have been telling people to do that about Trump more. That damned aspartame is what happened. He damaged his brain with wood alcohol poisoning. Look up the renowned neurosurgeon, Dr. Russell Blaylock. I'm not making this stuff up, okay? That's what I believe, because he was drinking those damn diet soda pops with aspartame in them. I think he damaged his brain. Otherwise, I think he wouldn't have been lambasting the media constantly, knowing that they were going to play a huge part in his reelection. And a lot of other things, too, that he did that was evidence that he's got brain damage. But I like Biden's speech. I really did. So, you know what? I found it conciliatory and unifying, and I don't care whose mouth it comes out of. You know, if he's repentant, if he could come out and admit to the American people that it started with the bailout of '08, or at least his complicity in that was wrong, and it was a betrayal to the people at large, American people, because in the long run, to bail out those criminals that deliberately caused the need for that bailout was wrong. We should have bailed out if anybody, we should have bailed out the homeowners so they stopped losing their homes in these illegal foreclosures. Illegal in my mind. Certainly weren't the golden rule, so they're illegal to God. You know, we got legal to God and legal to man are two totally different things, apparently, and that's sick. If we just follow the one law of God, treat each other the way we want to be treated, we wouldn't have the problems we have, any of the problems we have. But he harped too much on vaccines for me, so he believes in it, but I don't know how all these pushers of vaccine won't admit that there's other experts that disagree with them. They won't allow any of these people any airtime. You notice that? They will not discuss, and I heard this on mainstream media, this statistic, that in the highest educated areas, the most learned areas, this demographics, it's all just statistics, that they have the lowest vaccination